Despite some of the flaws inherent to modern SML, I still look back on older years of SML rather fondly. Some might even argue with some nostalgia. Something I can watch basically any time or any amount of times and still enjoy it. And so today I decided I'm going to count down the top 10 most nostalgic SML videos, at least to me. Obviously, this will change per person, with some possibly finding my choices flat out crazy, but sometimes that's how nostalgia works. Before we begin though, there's going to be a couple of rules. For starters, I'm going to limit myself to one video per series, otherwise this video would be taken up by a lot of series videos. Also, there's no real limit to when or where the video takes place, so it can take place in the old house, the apartment, or even the new house. So with that out of the way, grab your popcorn and rose-tinted glasses, and let's discuss the top 10 nostalgic SML videos. So let's start off this list with a few brief honorable mentions, with this first honorable mention being the baseball game. In this video, the plot is actually rather simple, with several characters, some of which we hadn't seen in a fairly long time, going out and playing baseball. And yeah, that's basically it. I thought the character interactions in this video, while more could have been done with them, were ultimately pretty decent. And the plot, while not the most exciting thing ever, wasn't bad either, and I don't think it had to be the most complex thing ever. I personally really like this video, and I think it's a nice and comfortable video to watch, if that makes any sense. It's just nice to see a lot of the characters all in one place for once, and actually outside doing an activity. I wish there were more SML videos like this from time to time, and I seriously think this is a well done video. So why isn't it even in the top 10? Well, for starters, I know that some of my thoughts on this are permanently impacted by the dry spell that was the Chris drought of 2020, so I think part of it literally has to do with my brain thinking this was one of the best videos of 2020, although that was in part because it was, well, 2020. Second of all, while I know there's no real time limit on nostalgia, in the grand scheme of things, such as other videos on this list, this one is probably the most recent out of them all. It's still been a few years, which is actually somewhat terrifying to think about, but some people might say that this video is too recent to even be in the running. The next honorable mention we have on this list is Bowser Jr. Sleepover. Is what I would say if Bowser Jr. Kinda Goes Camping didn't exist. Honestly, I could see the appeal of both, but especially now, Goes Camping, as I'll call it going forward, is sort of like the best parts of Bowser Jr. Sleepover. Bowser Jr. Sleepover is kind of filler heavy with hindsight, especially compared to Goes Camping, and honestly I just think that Goes Camping also has the better jokes and made me laugh far more often. For both though, I like the setting of a sort of sleepover between friends, even if in Goes Camping they didn't actually have a sleepover. I'll also add that I did like the ending portion of the sleepover video, but it wasn't enough to make it better than Goes Camping. But right, instead of comparing these two videos, let's actually discuss briefly Goes Camping proper now. With Junior Kinda Goes Camping, we get what would happen if Junior, Joseph, and Cody went camping, but indoors. That being said, it's less about the plot for this video, and more about the many hijinks that take place during this camping adventure, as it were. Honestly, I think this video really is just Bowser Jr. Sleepover, but better. Like I said before, I think this is a nice change of pace and scenery for SML. It also helps that this video sort of reminds me of that one SpongeBob episode, so that's obviously going to get bonus points there. My one gripe, however, is that despite everything, they didn't actually do a ton, and also Jeffy was shoved into this video because of course he had to be. Regardless, I thought this video was pretty good. It's always nice to rewatch, it's funny, and it sure beats more of the red couch. This video actually initially just barely made the list, along with the next honorable mention, but ultimately I didn't feel they quite stacked up with the other videos on this list, which is a shame since it's a pretty good video all the same. And the final honorable mention is Bowser Jr. Summer School Part 7. While I'm not a fan of every single Summer School video, I think that for the most part they all hold up well enough. When picking a certain part, though, I ultimately had to go with the grand finale of this series. For Summer School 7, we have the finale to the Summer School series, where Junior has to take his final exam, which he absolutely cannot fail. I think my favorite part of this is how one actually roots for Junior here. Like, we actually want to see him succeed. Not to mention the silly ways that Junior messes things up, as well as frankly just the entire bathroom scene in general. I also enjoyed Principal Steinbeck here from back before he became completely overused. Oh yeah, and Goodman from before he turned into his modern self. It was genuinely really nice to see Junior actually succeed in the end in the most odd roundabout way possible, and I think that of all the portions of this series, it was the most unique. I don't really have many gripes with this video, except that, like many of the videos on this list, I just wish there was more of it. I knew I had to put a Black Yoshi video in somewhere on this list, and it was between Black Yoshi's Speaker or Black Yoshi's new Call of Duty. Ultimately though, I think that Black Yoshi's Speaker just barely won, and that's only because Black Yoshi's new Call of Duty has sort of been soured in my mind now that we've had tons of Black Yoshi wants Call of Duty videos at this point. Black Yoshi Speaker is a simple, short video, but for some reason I just really like rewatching this one. The plot to this video is actually really simple. Black Yoshi's speaker breaks, so he steals another one, shoots the original owner, and then plays his music way too loud. It's not anything groundbreaking by any means, and the runtime is fairly short. But it's fun to watch, the jokes are funny, Lavelle is always funny to watch in this one, the effects are decent, and really it's just a neat video, and a classic in my opinion. At number 9, we have Bowser's Biggest Fear 3. Now, there are 3 of these, so why did I pick the third one? Well, honestly, while I think all 3 are pretty good, I thought that the third one had the best and funniest horror segment, and also simply got to it quicker. This entire group of videos sort of reminds me of the idea of sitting in bed and watching a scary movie, as odd as that may sound, so that's part of the draw for me. Of course, this wouldn't be much without the horror movie segment, which was really funny, as I said. The Bowser's Biggest Fear series always had a similar theme and setup, with Junior having to convince Bowser to watch a scary movie. I still think that this was the best one though, since the whole plot is that there's no milk, and that the milk carton is evil. I think part of it also has to do with how over-the-top Lavelle's reaction to everything is. Also, the milk carton floating towards a door and banging on the door was actually hilarious to me. I'll also add that I think part of this might also have to do with the positioning of the camera, which is sort of the case with a lot of these videos. That might sound strange, but one of Modern SML's weaknesses that I could never really describe until just now was the framing. While some shots are fine with this, even good with it, many shots, such as on the red couch, feel more like a stage where things happen. But enough about that. For number 8 is going to be Shrek's Diet. This video is actually remarkably different compared to some other Shrek videos, but the most important part of this is that Shrek finally has to get in shape. In Shrek's Diet, we get Shrek having to, well, go on a diet. Yeah, that's actually about it. I will say that even though the setup went on for a bit, most of it was entertaining, which is the most important thing, and Brooklyn Guy was quite funny not only here, but throughout the entire video. Also, Chef Pee-Pee and Mario having to force-feed Shrek a salad was really funny to watch. In fact, I'd argue this was one of Shrek's funniest videos in general. Normally I'd complain about the setup to this video going on too long, but honestly I really like it all the same, especially since it's funny enough, plus we get some unique character interactions which even to this day we don't see very often. I mean seriously, when was the last time you saw Shrek and Chef Pee-Pee interact? And we can't forget the montage segment, obviously. We also have the one and only appearance of Sausage Shrek, as I call him. Honestly, some people might find this to be a strange pick on here, but there's something about this video I always enjoy rewatching, especially that montage segment since that had such a great music choice as well. It was something different compared to the other songs that Logan uses in all of these videos anymore. It was actually a different music choice for once. At number 7, we have none other than Bowser Jr.'s birthday cake. A very simple video like some of the others on here, but one that I still enjoy going back to, especially given how it expands more on Chef Pee-Pee's character. For context, this was when Chef Pee-Pee had been expanding into his own character as more than just generic foreign chef. With this video, the plot is just Chef Pee-Pee making a birthday cake for Junior, deciding to just order one, and everything is fine. Until of course Toad comes in and ruins the whole thing. I love some of the shenanigans that happen in this video, mainly with Toad destroying the cake and Chef Pee-Pee's response.
Oh, you whore!
And you can't tell me that the ending to this video isn't hilarious. This video is such a memorable one in my opinion, and is always such a joy to go back and re-watch for its funny and clever moments. And at number 6, we have Bowser's video game. This is actually a really funny Bowser video where Bowser's complete incompetence is on full display. In fact, I'll say that this is up there as one of my favorite Junior era videos. Bowser gets the Charlie and Friends video game, and I honestly enjoyed how they did these video game sections. Yeah, it's just the most basic overlay of the controls, but I still find this whole video game section to be quite funny. That's the main highlight of this video, come to think of it. The way you can tell Bowser is completely failing, and the way Charlie is made to fumble around with Bowser's incorrect movements. Literally every single scene that they do in the video game is hilarious. And of course we have the ending with Junior saying that it was a really easy game. I really just wish there were more videos like this. Well... At number 5, we have Bowser's Dilemma. So take one of the normal classic era videos with Bowser demanding Chef Pee-Pee to cook him something, but then, well, remove Chef Pee-Pee. And then you get this video. This video involves Bowser actually having to find himself something to eat, but everything goes wrong in some way or another, such as Bowser not knowing how to make himself cereal, getting scammed by a delivery driver, or the microwave turning a donut into toast. Somehow.
What? Toast maker!
I've always found this video to be really funny, ironically enough even more so than videos with Chef Pee-Pee in them. It's more or less non-stop of Bowser continually failing the most basic things. Also, I really like the scene where they drove to Wendy's. It's comforting somehow. Honestly, this is such a classic and hilarious video, and like I said in the previous entry, I wish there were more videos like this one and the previous one. Now, as a surprise for number 4, we have The Big Thanksgiving. Yes, despite all the praise I've given this video over the years, it somehow only makes it to 4th place. I still stand by the fact that this video is incredibly nostalgic and a very comforting and enjoyable video to watch. But again, why only the 4th best? Well, most of what I really enjoyed only took place in the second half of the video, with the first half mainly being a bunch of setup. That setup time being spent on Bowser upset that his Thanksgiving consists of a turkey Lunchable, and so he has to do everything he can to invite people over for his, well, big Thanksgiving. It's still a great video, especially being able to see all the characters get together for the first and basically only time, let alone in such a nice and special occasion. In fact, that's one thing where this video is simply second to none. We get to see basically every single character here. This was, in my opinion, one of the final true acknowledgements of classic SML, especially in that regard, and I personally enjoy some of the Thanksgiving atmosphere and general mood of this video, with everyone being able to get along for this holiday. For number 3, we have The Bird. The bird's plot is that Woody catches a bird and wants to take care of it, but it ends up causing a whole bunch of issues for Black Yoshi and Shrek in particular, which was honestly really interesting to watch, just seeing how things change with the bird in the way of everything. Also, I think this was the first time Shrek ever ordered McDonald's, at least on screen. Now, some people might be confused as to why this surpasses The Big Thanksgiving, and honestly, that's one of those areas where it's some of the nostalgia talking. To me though, I think this simply felt far more like classic SML, in part since it took place during that era, and much of the video was just how characters like Shrek and Black Yoshi handle the bird, and seeing Woody actually doing something more than just shrimpo hunting. We also get to see a fair bit of the old house, which for some reason has always been a treat to me. Probably in part because the old house feels more lived in than the new house, which feels too much like a set at times. I also have to say, I love some of the camera angles in this video, which you don't get much of in modern SML. I liked how Woody actually cared enough to spare the bird, or how well the effects were done in this video, which still somehow managed to meet or exceed modern SMLs. Honestly, I just think this video is still really great and holds up really well, not to mention that it acts as a sort of introduction to Black Yoshi and the birds. At second place, we have Baby Shrek. And okay, we all knew this video would be on here somewhere, but why do I enjoy this video so much? For the plot of Baby Shrek, Shrek literally craps out a miniature clone of himself, and so Shrek has to navigate his way around taking care of it. Look, I promise this video is good, seriously. While I could say I like most of the things Shrek has to deal with involving Baby Shrek, or how other characters try to help Shrek, how funny I thought Shrek could be here, and I mean those are all true. It being in the old house helps of course, like I've said before, but let's be honest, it's mainly the ending that really makes this such a great video. It isn't the fact that Shrek literally crapped out a miniature clone of himself that makes this video one I remember this long after the fact. If it was just that, I'd call it an okay video and not much more. It's the fact that when Shrek is offered the chance to get rid of Baby Shrek, even after all the problems, Shrek refuses, and insists that he'll raise Baby Shrek until he's an adult and goes to college, which is exactly what he does. Which to me is a really wonderful moment in this video, and it really sells this video for me as a nostalgic one. And if you subscribe to Mathdominus's line of thinking on the SML timeline, you could also consider this as concluding all of SML, which would honestly be a really nice conclusion. But there's still one more video that I think is more nostalgic than all the others. In first place... Okay, come on, there's a major series we're missing here. We're missing the finale to Mario and Luigi's Stupid and Dumb Adventures. That's right, the #1 most nostalgic SML video to me is Mario and Luigi's Stupid and Dumb Adventures Season 2, Episode 11. I mean, for crying out loud, why wouldn't it be? This is the finale to Logan's original flagship series, and the final battle with Bowser. Mom Luigi actually comes back to life one last time, before Mario loses all of his powers, but things end in a sort of happy way, where Mario gets another chance by getting to go back in time. Or he's just doomed to repeat the events over and over, but let's not get into that here. And at least that was the original plan for the ending. This was in part because Logan had no idea what might happen to him during the surgery for his SMA syndrome. That's another part of why this is so nostalgic for me. I was nervously waiting for what happened to Logan during his surgery, along with many other fans who didn't hear from him for weeks. I remember wondering if this really was the last SML video. Of course, Logan was fine, but it was still concerning at the time, and part of what I did was I rewatched this video many times over, along with his other videos or bits of the series from before. Honestly, if I had to pinpoint a reason for why I still hold a grudge against Season 3, aside from all the continuity errors, I think it's because it soured a perfectly good ending to me, and an ending I personally thought was important. With that said, I still love this season finale, and that's why it's the most nostalgic SML video of all time. To me, at least. That's the thing, of course. Nostalgia isn't a set-in-stone thing, as it varies from person to person. I know there are plenty of people who are nostalgic for stuff like the Junior Goes To videos, or for some of the early Jeffy videos. Part of that has to do with when one started watching, what videos one rewatched the most, and so on. But for me, these are the ones that I rewatch and never get bored of. Some of this is difficult to explain. Maybe some of this includes the feeling of the older technology in some of these videos, with the end of the 2000s and very early 2010s tech. Maybe it's the old house, which feels more like a house than the new house, which can at times feel like a set. Maybe it's the characters, or the camera angles, or the environments. Whatever the case, these are my personal most nostalgic SML videos. What are your most nostalgic SML videos though, since I'm sure there's a wide variety of answers out there. But that's all for now. Thank y'all for watching, and take care.